Platoon tactics. Big result for Newcastle today, mate.
Yeah, absolutely massive. And first, I want to give credit to Arsenal in terms of just you guys came, you played well, you really good in tight space. I was really, really nervous in going into this game. But look, Eddie Howe, I'll give him credit first and foremost. He made the change, kept Longstaff from the Chelsea game instead of Tonali. So there was a big old kind of hoo-ha amongst Newcastle fans as to why he did that. But it paid off. We had energy, we had legs on the pitch. We matched Arsenal in terms of their 4-4-2 formation, which surprised me a little bit. But again, our fullbacks, Livramento, Hall, especially against Saka, were really incredible. Hall was my man of the match as well. What is kind of the most definitive kind of statistic for me from the game is the fact that our ground duels, we kind of outfought Arsenal, but also in terms of Pope didn't have a save to make. And that was absolutely fantastic from a Newcastle perspective. And we were clinical. Gordon on the right, Willock on the left, Isak. Obviously, that goal was absolutely phenomenal. Really, really proud of the boys. And yeah, it came, you were right, Terry, when you said at the beginning, it came a very pressure time for Newcastle. We hadn't won a game in the Premier League for a long, long time. And so this was a big win. We've played 4 out of the 6 top 6 sides. We've taken about, we've only lost one of those games. So we've taken about 7-8 points from those. So absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, and you did deserve it. Absolutely deserved it. The sort of discipline you had defensively today, especially from your 2 fullbacks who never were caught out of position, that always got back into shape, like a massive amount of, and this is the hard thing, of course, Chelsea fans, United fans, Spurs fans are going to go in on Arsenal, and Arsenal fans are going to criticize what they got wrong. But I think it would be really unfair to not sort of call out and praise how well Newcastle played in this match.
No, absolutely. And we always do that, especially if it's our teams that loses or whatnot, we kind of focus on the things that we didn't do right. But there is the silence of the other team. You've got to kind of also look at what they're doing as well. So yeah, no, big credit to the Eddie Howe for his team selection, how the boys played. We did our counter press really well. So yeah, incredible victory for us.
Yeah, listen, absolutely, and well done to you. Giuseppe, not the result you all wanted. Revenge was predicted for last season, but it was just another game where you could not get going in the attack, mate.
Yeah, mate. Do you know what? Yeah, at the start of the season, I said, and I had certain man telling me, "Oh wow, we scored 91 goals last season. We don't need a striker. We don't need it." And now you see why we do need this shit. Because I'm not gonna lie, today actually pissed me off more than any. I think this game, man, pissed me off more than any game the past few years because we looked anonymous. We looked like we didn't want anything. How can you go onto the pitch in this game knowing that if you don't win this game, yeah, let's be real, the title's gone. Like, let's be real. If Man City win today, 8 points, you ain't swinging 8 points on City. Let's be real. Without us fumbling a game or two, it's not happening. Let's be honest. Yeah. Not to say everything's over and we got to give up. We got to still go for it because crazy things have happened and you got to still try. Our best opportunity this season is to go for cups. In the game, though, Newcastle deserved the win. I think there's credit to Newcastle that has to go. That I thought they got that goal early and it was shut up shop from there. They just knew what they had to do and they done it. And they knew that we ain't creative like that without Odegaard. So they were like, if we just put everyone back and we've got our structure and we stay firm, they won't score. Yeah, we haven't got a striker. Yeah, I'll be real. We haven't got a striker, and I've done said it. And this is why I said we need a striker, because there was like 2 or 3 opportunities in that game where there just ain't anyone there. Saka puts it across the box. You got a striker. He's there. Haaland's there. When Saka puts that ball in and it makes it 1-1, Haaland's there, and this is the difference. And this is why when man like even Dio and that are telling me we don't need a striker, yeah, I argue all the time that we need a striker. We didn't do enough in the summer, yeah, and now we have to bear witness to this. Fair enough to Newcastle. Arsenal, for me, Arteta has to take some responsibility. So does the players, because I'm not going to lie. Although I think he should have started 1 year in the game, yeah, that Trossard, brother. Like, what is going on with you, bro? Get off the pitch. Within 20 minutes of the game, I wanted him off the pitch. Honest to God, like I'm rattled today. I'll be honest. I've come on here to talk about the game, but I'm rattled. And now I could go through every player and say they've done shocking. Yeah, I just don't know with this team, man. Mental fatigue, I think, is a big factor. I think I'm looking at this team now this season and thinking we battled for the league twice right until the end. maybe not the first time, but right until the end last season, and we didn't win it. And it looks like mental fatigue is set into this team, and we're going to have a season where it's just not like the 2 seasons before. Not to say we can't turn that around next season and go again, but we haven't got enough. This is on Edu's head, not enough in the summer. Man them. Yeah, this is why at the start of the season, man them in this chat here right now, telling us we beat the Chelsea record, all this shit that we were talking, and I said we didn't do enough. Yeah, and I'm positive. I'm not even one of these negative Arsenal fans. I'm positive. But the way Arsenal fans were moving was brazy. The way we were saying we don't need a striker, that we don't need to sign an attacker. We let Emil Smith-Rowe go. Now what's happening? He's one of Fulham's best players. He'd slot straight into this team. It's just decisions that I think were wrong at the club from top to bottom. And now we got to look. And Arteta's now on the chopping block as well, mate. Like, I'll be honest, and I'm Arteta in. I'm not saying Arteta's got a guy I would never sack him mid-season. He's got till the end of the season. But the pressure on him now, yeah, not only from his own accord, from the board that didn't back him in the summer, in my opinion, as well, is now head is on the chopping block, and he has to, for me, look at other cups and that and say, yo, we still go for the league, but we have to prioritize cups. We need to prioritize that Carabao Cup and that.
On the points, so most people think around 90 points is going to be needed to win the league this year. For Arsenal have dropped 12 points in their opening 10 games. To reach 90 points, you can only drop 12 more points for the entirety of the season remaining.
Yeah, mad. And you got to play City again. You got to play at Anfield. You got all these little games that you can drop points in. We have to win the league now. If Arsenal win the league now, I'd argue that it's one of the most, and City win today, I'd argue it's one of the most impressive Premier League wins in history, because we would have to beat near on perfect for the rest of the season to win the league. That's why for me it's done.
Yeah, I get that. Brandon, I know you've got a shoot in a minute, mate. So I'll jump to you. What did you make of today, mate?
It's not over, but it's over, if that makes sense. If we drop points next week against Chelsea, it's done. Yeah, it's completely done. It's as simple as that. As Giuseppe rightly pointed out, we will drop more points this season. The fact that we've dropped 12 points in our opening games already, and we can only afford to drop 12 more to reach that sort of points total, it's just not going to happen, boys, especially with the way that we're playing right now. The way that we're playing right now doesn't fill me with confidence that this is a team that's ready to win the league, right? We see all that talk at the end of the season last season, Mikel Arteta and Odegaard standing in the stadium, last game of the season. We want more. We want more. Show me you want more. Yes, it's Newcastle away. It's not an easy game, right? Show me you want this league title. Don't turn up to Newcastle, play like a bunch of fucking pricks, because that's exactly what they did today. Exactly what they did today. And once again, yes, players hold accountability, but I look squarely in the eyes of the manager. Why? Because this was a 5-year process. This was his team. This is his project. Yeah? I didn't wait 5 years to win a league fucking cup. I want a Premier League title or a Champions League. I don't see this team, this squad, attaining either of them trophies because we are simply not good enough. Not good enough, right? And the manager can hold the majority of the blame for that because, as I said, this is his project he's built. This is his finished article. But also at the same time, like Giuseppe said, we didn't do anywhere near enough in the summer. And I blame the Cronkies for that because I don't think that they back the manager. And I actually sat there and said, do you know what? I think Arteta has been let down this summer. But then the fact that he signed the new contract also told me that he's happy with this squad. But let me tell you this, boys, right? We're bringing off players because things are not going right in the games. And we're bringing on the likes of Zinchenko, who hasn't played all season, right? Highly, or very, very low on confidence, I would say, because in recent weeks, we've been bringing Lewis Skelly off the bench ahead of him. So Zinchenko's a guy who isn't very high on confidence right now. Jesus isn't very high on confidence right now. So we're looking at that bench thinking, who could come on and change the game? None of them are high on confidence because the manager's dented every single one of them in terms of confidence. Every single one of them. We stick with the same old crappy formation. You know, if we get a goal, we'll sit back, hit on the counter. It's rubbish. It's absolute rubbish.
I hear you. I hear you. I get the frustration. I wanted to throw this out. I mean, it's. I think was it 7 games on the bounce now without a clean sheet as well. I mean, that you could argue that's as big a issue as anything, considering how strong your defense has been, Brandon.
Yeah, exactly, bro. You know, the one thing that last season that we could all sit there and say, okay, maybe we have a chance of winning the league next year, is because our defense was so, you know, so formidable last season. And we kind of sat there at the end of the season. Everybody said it. If we get a clinical forward in this Arsenal team that will finish off them chances that we couldn't score against West Ham when we had 36 shots on goal, etc., etc., with that defensive line, we could actually be onto something here. But the defense has been poor this season, really has. Like, goals that we conceded, it is terrible. But again, as I've said, I didn't wait 5 years to win a League Cup or an FA Cup. I waited for that. And people keep telling me, yeah, but who are you going to go and get? Well, Manchester United have just got a manager, a young manager, who has won 6 trophies in 5 years with the Portuguese equivalent of Tottenham Hotspur. So there are managers out there that can go and do it. And I've said this before, right? Mikel Arteta might just be the guy, like a Brendan Rodgers, like a Pochettino, who, by the way, if Arteta does not win a trophy this season, that'll be 5 years without a trophy, which is the exact same as what Pochettino did at Tottenham that we all laughed about, right? So when are we going to start having conversations about that? Yeah? I'm sorry, I've had enough, I've really had enough.